But I think also I feel a little disgust. I feel a little bit of disgust too. And I'm like, why do I feel disgust? Why? There's another emotion here. And I don't know if I nailed it completely, but one of the things that I realized that came out was I'm almost a little bit jealous that they missed the relationship. I'm almost a little bit jealous that they feel any sadness about leaving ICOC because they enjoyed some of it. It benefited them in some way. They felt like being in that environment, they experienced an advantage of being there, and I didn't. I mean, obviously, I know you guys, and I'm happy to know you, but we could have met each other another way. I think we could have. I don't give any credit to that place whatsoever. I don't give any credit to that place for anything that's good in my life that I have. Because at the end of the day, I am just pissed I ever was introduced to them. I would never do it all over again, ever. And it's so interesting. And I think what helped me to come to this realization too is as I was driving home, I was stuck in traffic, and I went on to YouTube, and one of Matthew Walkert's new posts popped up, and he was talking with that guy James, who used to be a leader in the church, and the title of the message is "Would I Do It All Over Again?" He did. He started off like I thought he would, but then he surprised me. So he went through talking about all that it made his life better because he became a Christian, and if it wasn't for God, he knows he would have done this. He knows he would have done that. He would have been on drugs. He would have been cheating on his wife. You don't know that. You don't know that. You're giving credit to this church that you don't know. You have no idea whether or not you're attributing everything that is kind and moral and virtuous about yourself to this church. Stop that. You don't know that. You don't know what could have happened to you that would have made you make these same decisions to be a good person. Shut up. And it pushes that narrative that only goodness comes from the Bible, learning about Bible God, but that's a completely different discussion. But he said, he went through all that he benefited and all that he's happy he didn't become because he became a Christian. But then he said, so to answer the question, would I do it again? He said, no, I wouldn't. He said, the reason I wouldn't do it again is because despite how much I benefited from being in that church, knowing the pain it caused others, it wasn't worth it. I had to give him credit for that because that's what everyone should say. Despite the fact that they benefited, they should actually be angry that they benefited in a system that was literally torturing other people. For every person that benefited, there were 100 people who had to suffer, most likely for your benefit. There was someone suffering while you were benefiting. That's just how that place works. If you're benefiting, there's somebody you're betraying. There's somebody who's secretly suffering. He was like, I would never do it again, knowing the pain it caused other people. My position in this church, what I benefited, and I was like, good point. So and that almost made me want to cry because it's true. He kind of acknowledged a bit of what I feel and what I rage about in our YouTube videos. The very things that torture me are the things that made you happy. And I was a part of that happiness. For people who enjoyed all of their time in that system, I was a part of that happiness. For example, you have people who left the church who are parents who are like, the place is so toxic, it's so bad. However, I am so grateful. I had so much help from the teen leaders with my children. And that part, I know I wouldn't have had any support. I didn't have any family or friends. So that part, I'll always be grateful for. Well, yeah, you're grateful for it. But while you had all this support with your teams, I was missing job opportunities, not being able to have time to take care of myself, tired, crying, wishing I was free. My marriage is suffering. I'm in the point where I'm about to have a baby just to get a break from your babies. So I am doing the one thing I don't want to do because I'm trying to set myself free from the system that you benefit from. There's many, many examples like that. So anyway, so I realized, long story short, through what James said, and then I read that post, and I was like, why do I want to punch people in the face who say stuff like, I miss my relationship? And it's because there's a little bit of jealousy for the fact that they don't feel like I feel that my time was 1,000% wasted. They at least got something out of this pure, utter hell. They got something out of it, and I got nothing. I'm just stupid. I was just brainwashed. That's it. I was just a vulnerable, stupid little girl, you know. And I'm like, how stupid can you be, Asha? There were a ton of people who were in the system who were in it because it benefited them in some way. It makes sense for them to be there. You just got brainwashed? That's pitiful. I'm sorry for you, honey. There was nothing you enjoyed, but you stayed for 21 years. That is the saddest story I have ever heard. That is the saddest story I have ever heard. And then I get mad at anybody who enjoyed anything, just temporarily. It's like a visceral reaction. It's like, there's this jealousy and pity that I feel for myself at the same time. So thanks for listening to this random thought.